Okay, yes, this is a very sudden live stream. All right. My computer doesn't like streaming. I think to save myself some FPS, I'm just gonna... Bye-bye. Now for the obligatory check on my own stream, and you'll probably hear it in the background if you tune in at the right time. Oh, hey. It's not bad, actually. All right. Bleh. Ugh, I need to close some applications, and that's going to cause the screen to not have fun because my drivers are not good. Okay, let's see. Where's the red? This is the red. Uh, let's see. Starting off with Pre Dreadnoughts, what am I thinking? I'm thinking two main guns and a handful of secondaries. Very little heavy armor, too. Just gonna clear out my hotbars. Not like it matters. I cleared them out anyways. Alright, I'm about ready to start. Tiered thrusters. I forgot I have a bunch of extra mods in here that I don't use. Okay, well. That's not... Weldless. Hello, Lori. I have a feeling this may not be the style of stream you are interested in. Am I making a stop sign? No, I'm making a warship. So, I'm challenging myself to make what I'm calling, like, build through the ages. This is a game called Space Engineers. As you can see, I'm not in space. I'm using a water mod, and that's because probably the only thing I'm actually good at making are boats. So, I'm going to challenge myself to make boats throughout different ages from, like, actual human history. So, pre Dreadnought, Dreadnought, Super Dreadnought, Battleship, like fast Battleship, and then modern and futuristic. I just need to figure out the game plan. And also how I want to go about this. I guess it would probably help to figure out what the main armament's gonna be. Also, I just want to point out this is a really funny thing I've noticed with Streamlabs, which is the person that I use. It says sign in to chat for me in Streamlabs. I'm signed into Streamlabs, but I can't chat through Streamlabs. I would have to go to YouTube. That's just something I find really funny. Yeah, sure. I'll watch a rocket launcher. Yeah, use ancient Chinese weaponry on an iron battleship. That'll go well. Let's see. I want something that looks kind of old. Maybe the 300 millimeter. Looks a little small. Okay, yes. That is, like, the perfect main armament. So, I shall remember to put this in here. For the secondary armament, these things didn't really have a lot of turrets on them, so... By the way, if I just, like, pause and whatnot, do note I am looking down at a book, because I have a book that has some, like, 300 naval vessels throughout history in it. Alright. I think I will go ahead and use some of these 300 millimeters, and then I'll have probably a bunch of, where is it, casemates, but I don't want Gatling gun or autocannon casemate. That would be ridiculously powerful. Uh, there's not particularly many small casemates in the mod I'm thinking about. I could probably make casemates if I wanted to. It is really quiet in here. I haven't streamed in 2 months, and I also haven't posted a video in like the same amount of time. I am a very inconsistent uploader. But if you're also talking about like a lack of music or anything, I I do have the music turned down really low because it was getting annoying when I was playing with friends. So that should probably be a bit better. Maybe I should go with some of these. Yeah, I think I will actually. So now I've got my main armament figured out. Now I just have to figure out the hull. I know a lot of people use like proper naval mods, so stuff with like propellers and whatnot. And I've like debated using those. Like I kind of really want to, but my friend who I like play a lot with, he isn't the biggest fan of just adding a ton of mods, so I just kind of have to do without and just use vanilla stuff. What I'm doing is I am making naval vessels in a game called Space Engineers, because I'm a total doofus. I haven't set the center. I'm so bad at this game. Yeah, it certainly is something. It is certainly a thing I can do with my free time. I feel like I should make it like 1 block wider. Well, I guess technically 2 blocks. The one most annoying thing about Space Engineers is rotating blocks, because it it can be so annoying sometimes. That's gonna be a weak point. I'll probably address that later. I got myself a drink this time so I don't die of thirst halfway through. And now the part where I make minor little adjustments that probably don't matter at all because I have OCD. I should note that no doctor has ever diagnosed me with OCD. Okay, so thinking starting out like this, banding this way. I'm like 99% sure this design is going to massively suck. That's kind of the point, though. Hmm. I will most likely go quiet for very long periods of time because I like to think a lot. And this is one of those games where it's like, at least for me, I struggle to talk and do stuff at the same time because then I'll distract myself and I will make plenty of mistakes. Am I stupid? This will be nice practice for me, since I haven't tried building any smaller battleships before. Well, I mean, I kind of tried. Someone did want me to make a coastal battleship, but I low-key sucked and kind of gave up. I am sure there's like a significantly easier way to understand the rotation of blocks than what I do, which is just rotate them wildly until you get it right. What is my favorite ice cream flavor? Probably cookies and cream, actually. What would yours be? Okay, so I need to pull up a reference image. I said pull up a reference image, not... I think I should actually do this. I could do that. That looks okay, so no. Alright, I think I've got the gun layout that I want. It is really ineffective, which is ironically perfect for what I need. Now the tricky part is, realistically, these things would only have protection like up here on the first two layers and then nothing below. But the way that like the way the AI works in this game, it targets things like power generation, propulsion, and then weapons. Well, where do you put the power generation? You see, if you want to keep the weight down low, you put it like, for example, down here. Well, if all of your armor's up here, the water doesn't block the bullets. So the enemy shell comes in, hits here, goes through, and then destroys all of your shit. So now I'm in a little bit of a dilemma. Do I go more accurate or do I go more space engineers? And I tend to go more space engineers. Also, this thing should be able to float. It's got a lot of width to it compared to its length. It's a very, what we would call a beamy ship, the beam being how wide it is. I gotta figure out how to build the hull with this blocking. Actually, shouldn't be too hard. Now, though, do I want these to be full blocks or do I want these to kind of curve? I think since I'm not really going to have much of a internal section, I think I'm going to do it like this. That's probably my best bet. It gives it about a solid 1 block thickness for most of it. And then it should actually be decent. But the downside of having such a small hull overall, I can't use much heavy armor. So I'll have to, like, armor the right spots. Okay. Let's get started on this layer. Maybe I don't have it bulge out like that. Dilemmas. I think I'll have that actually act as like a torpedo bulge. Hello, J Money. Uh-oh. There those go. I can't wait for Space Engineers 2 to come out so everything is so much easier than what it is in Space Engineers 1. Okay. Okay, I like it, I like it. Don't have school until Monday, eh? Never be like me. Try your best in school. supposed to be going that far, am I? Okay, it's coming along really great so far. So what I normally do is I will build the entire hull out of light armor, and then after that, see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm terrible at talking and doing stuff in this game at the same time. And it's like exclusively this game. But after I'm done with that, what I plan to do is go to certain sections and use heavy armor instead. Just replace the light armor. The reason I do that is because I used to not do that, and then I suffered. I suffered greatly. Because I would make something, I'd think it was gonna work, and then it didn't work, and then I cried. Ah, yes, my favorite. The unidentified signal that spawns in and makes my FPS drop down to like 4. I would have liked to be in the room with whoever at Keen said, like, oh yeah, guys, unidentified signals are a great idea. Let's just have something load in which completely crashes the game of anyone who doesn't have a, like, top-end computer. I can't be too mean to them, though, because it is, like, the only good content we have in vanilla. Ugh, some of these extra mods are gonna really annoy me. This is actually, I think, the one of the first times I've made a hull like this. Not like as in a tumble home, if you guys know what that means. But like the first time making a hull with this geometry. I kind of like it. It looks really nice. Are you the right one? Kind of. Maybe? No. Possibly? Definitely not. Yes? Okay. The geometry of this game breaks my brain at times. Now I've got to figure out how I'm gonna go about adding colors to this thing because this is such a weird hull. Okay, this is progress. Alright, well, that's the whole, like, 99% done. So, I'm gonna cut a hole in it and come inside and see what I'm working with. Not much. I am not working with much. So, definitely gonna have to limit how much heavy armor I use. I'm wondering if maybe I should just use a bunch of passageway blocks. They're gonna be really bad when it comes to explosives or just piercing weaponry, but there will be a lot of them. So it'll be harder to sink the thing. I think I'll just have like maybe 3 main compartments, one for the second and tertiary guns, one for each of the main guns, and then the engine rooms though. I'll figure this out. So, I think going into F8 will probably be better here. Okay. That's the center of that. So, oh boy. This cargo container is significantly less deep than the other one. That could be a problem. Maybe I go for one main? Okay, I'm also doing this as a kind of like proof to myself of all of the lessons I have used before in past builds and trying to put them all together. So, having one central magazine sucks, but it'll probably be more efficient. Since I'm going to do one central magazine, I'm actually going to make it more. So, this. And I want to see... I'm done. Okay, so one of these can hold 411 shells for the main guns. That should be more than enough. It's about 205 shots per main gun. And it would definitely not be in combat long enough to go through that. So, that should be more than enough for the secondary and tertiary guns as well. Alright. I wish we had just an armored door. Hmm. The biggest problem with Central Magazine is if the conveyors get taken out, your ship's done. So, how do I circumnavigate that? Here. I'll do this. Did I miss? I missed. What? I've just got these secondary turrets to do. I missed. That's gonna be a common thing, isn't it? I'm gonna miss a lot of these. Okay, so here's what I am thinking. Splits off here. Splits off here. And then to add a little bit of extra redundancy, it'll connect in one giant loop. Though consequently, this also means if the magazine explodes, everything goes. It's all gone. Nothing survives. there's a little bit of protection. Then I keep forgetting to turn on symmetry mode, so I have to redo everything else on the other side as well. That's so cool. Alright, well, time to see if this thing can even float. I just spawned it like 20 times too close to the shore. Go out that way. Should have just controlled X to that. But, yeah, looks like it floats really well. It's not even back heavy or front heavy. It's way higher than it should, which is exactly what I want. Because that means I have a lot of space to work with. Okay, now then, though. Gonna have to start figuring out the internals. Okay, it's gonna be slightly risky of me. That could work, but then I gotta put this somewhere. I think that should be fine. Well, no, not really, because... I need to come up with a compact design. I know. Let's see if I can't get a little creative with the design. Oh my lord. I can't seem to find the blocks. If I have to, I will spawn in a ship that I know has the blocks that I'm looking for. Ah, here it is, core systems. It's rounded, really? They called it rounded? Okay. Okay, I'm thinking either this or this. I think I like this one better. It's bulkier, but that works. Alright, I actually really like that design. It's so simple, but it works. Actually, I think I should make that a little bit less. Doesn't make much sense to armor her too heavily. Okay, so oh, welcome back, David. I have figured out a nice compacted design for the engines. I think it looks decently nice for what I have to work with. I did test this. It did float for now, until I inevitably over armor it and it no longer floats, and then I cry. Alright, well, all I have to do is replace the outside from here, from these things, and that would be all of the machine spaces protected. I don't think I'm gonna do much other protection unless I have a lot of buoyancy left over. But for now, I have to use the restroom, like, really bad. So I'll be right back. Alright. That was a very fun time. And my screen is going to be flickering like crazy because I was... Oh! Space Engineers crash. No, it didn't. My PC is dying. Okay, here we go. So this thing will be able to take like 5 hits before sinking. Now, do I continue that down to the bottom of the ship? I think I do, because I've seen too many times where a shell completely misses, but then scrapes the bottom and causes a ton of damage. Which will most likely still happen, but I want that to happen less. Alright. That's the machine space is fully armored. Time for the second check of if this thing can float. Yes, it can. It's just back heavy. Very back heavy. I guess that makes sense. More the weight is this way. But all that tells me is where I need to place my gyros and batteries. Man, I love forgetting to turn on symmetry mode. It's my favorite. Okay, and now I just... boom. So, that's the front done. Oops, and now I can't access my other toolbars. I have no clue what causes that, by the way. Hmm. I really don't want this whole room to be one big room. Perhaps if I split it up into two, it'll be serviceable. Alright, look at that, it's balanced now. This is a hefty ship. Hey, there's a bomb strapped to my chest. Okay. Gary, there's a bomb strapped to my chest, and it's going to explode if you don't get in the bath. Please? Okay. I mean, I could use this. It's a modded block, though, and I don't exactly know which mod it belongs to. Where's the normal base game? Here it is. Ah, this is the most annoying part of Space Engineers. Blocks that just do not fit with other blocks. Hmm. I don't know, it's just not working for me. Maybe I changed this to be 2 stairs and then I do it. got to wonder, are these better than just using what I normally use? Let's see. So 25 interior plates and 10 construction components versus 30 interior plates and 12. So this is actually better. Barely, but better. Who knows? Nah. There we go. I would probably not want to be the person in the bridge if this thing went into combat. One lucky hit and you're done. Or, well, I guess I should say unlucky hit. Alright. I think that looks pretty good for the superstructure and everything. She still sits a little high, though. But maybe that's a good thing. Don't copy. Maybe I'll add some more armor to her. But for now, since it's a successful design at the moment, I do not have a name for it, so I will just call it Pre Dreadnought. Now for the most fun part. Damage testing. Okay. I expected her to do a little bit worse than that. Now here's where it's going to get really bad. Yeah, this is still light armor, so I'll probably replace that. Yeah, if you hit her in the center, she just crumbles. Like that. I would consider this sunk, or at the very least inoperable. It's not how it works in Space Engineers, but yeah. I love doing little damage tests like that. It's so much fun. I immediately lost it. Here it is. Actually, let's see. How far does it sink down when I get rid of the middle ones? Quite a bit, actually. It sinks down quite a bit. I keep forgetting I can't switch my... I don't even know what causes that. Just the inability to switch your toolbars between 1 through 9. Something I do almost every time I play this game causes me to be unable to switch my toolbars and go to the ones that I've set up, which is very annoying. I don't know what causes that. I can't find what causes that because there's like no keybinds, and no matter how much I look for it, I can't find anyone who's apparently ever had the same problem. And it's very frustrating. I'm just gonna get rid of all this and replace it with heavy armor. I don't know if you've ever played Minecraft before, but for some reason, the ocean ambience in Minecraft is incredibly terrifying. And I do not know why, but like there's just like it sounds like there's monsters. It's really weird. It's not quite a traditional ram bow, but it'll do the job as one. Wow, this thing is still floating one layer above where I thought it would. I mean, it's not a bad thing, I guess. Got extra buoyancy. Now then, to use a pipe or to use a cat? I think a pipe. One of these. I forget. Yeah, I have to go find a terminal, and then I can do that. I wish the game would allow me to use this terminal. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. There's the extremely black smoke that you see from the old funnels. That's the good stuff. The stuff that'll give you lung cancer. Then, for comparison, yeesh. This would be the one and only Dreadnought I've ever made. The others I made were just this one, but modified. Yeah, quite a difference. I'm actually kind of surprised exploding is good as it is. I mean, usually I've not had very much luck with tumble home designs. These are temporary. Those will not stay. Speaking of food, has the hunger consumed thou as well? What is my favorite dish? That is actually... Oh, that is such a tough question. So... I've always had trouble figuring out my favorite dish because there's so many, right? Like, I love, for example, sushi. I absolutely love sushi. Amazing food. But then I also love filet mignon. Oh. There's also wahoo. I've had wahoo, which is a type of fish, and it was by far probably the best fish I've had, up there with bluefin tuna. But if you're talking about like just any dish in general, maybe ambrosia salad. I don't know. I've always loved ambrosia salad. I also make a lot of food. I love to cook, but usually when my father is over, he cooks instead. He actually he's probably, if I had to be honest, a way better cook than I am. But it's really hard to compete with someone who had a scholarship to a culinary school in France, but he didn't accept it because I don't know. He just didn't. Hmm, that ain't working. That's not what I want. This is a little something I taught myself. A little bit of greedling technique. I love it. And yes, the boat is moving on its own because I don't have any thrusters to prevent it from doing that. And that's just how it works in this game, which is dumb and stupid, but you deal with what you got. Boom, and just like that, we got anchor chains. I have wanted to test, like, maybe doing it with these instead, but it's just a little too wide. There is no single pipes, so. Maybe conduits? No, the conduits are just too conduity. Neon tubes are way too skinny. So, that's why I use ladders. A little bit more greebling detail I like to use is when ships go in for moorings, they usually have like two little nubs. You'll see them all the time. It'll be like two little metal tubes that are really small and they're all along the side of the ship. That, or they'll be like almost an anvil kind of shape. What those are for is you would wrap the ropes around it, and it would keep your ship in place while in dock. So I always like to add them onto my ships, just to make them look a little bit more believable. think right here would be best. So these are supposed to hold cargo and such. I'm not going to use them for that. They're just going to be purely decorative. Okay. So now it's time to get the outer propellers ready. Oh, you don't have to be ready for anything. I'm just about to do something rather important. Now I could be lazy and not put an actual rudder here. I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do, because I want to make a functioning rudder. Wait, what? There is half-centered pins. I thought there wasn't. I'm losing my mind. Maybe that's a newer thing. I can either do that or I could do this. Nah, I think this one would be better. Star. There we go. Now there's a funky little side effect to what I've just done. Ironically, the atmospheric thrusters now provide the same amount of thrust sideways as they do forward. Which is really silly, but, you know, that's just kind of how you gotta do it. Usually. Alright, I think that is it. Mostly complete in terms of features. Everything else that would be left to do is just interior stuff, and there's not much interior, so that would be really quick and easy. But damage time, and wow. I forgot to armor the black part right here. So the armor survived except for right here. So I'll have to fix that, definitely. But I'm surprised she hasn't sunk anymore. Very surprised. But, you know, one more and it's done. Or not. Not even close. Man, am I getting too good at making these things? That's sad. Okay, well, I have no idea how it's survived that. I'm genuinely perplexed. He's still arse heavy. Which makes sense. Alright, that one didn't help at all. Behold the thing I hate the most about the water mod. Buoyancy isn't calculated properly. I will forever hate the way that buoyancy is calculated and done in this mod. Forever. It is just so unintuitive at times. Dress the elephant in the room. What, you mean the fact that I added slightly more armor and now it's listing like crazy? Again, that's the one thing I hate about this water mod. So look. No change. Floats perfectly fine. You know, she's a little butt heavy, but she gets up there. But the instant you go and add some heavy armor, everything goes bad. I mean, yeah, you can lift the boat up, but I consider using like thrusters and stuff to lift a boat up to be cheating. It's also just a bad practice because then if you're making a lot more thrusters for enemy AI to target, so then they find it much easier to sink your ship. See, like, the thing about it is, it makes... The way that stability works in this mod makes 0 sense to me. 0. Because how are you going to tell me that making a change on both sides of the ship that is completely equivalent is going to make it list? That just isn't how that works in real life at all. That's never how it's worked. And yes, there is a genuine thing of if the center of mass is too high up, it can make a ship's buoyancy really, really bad. To the point that if it does tilt over, it can list. The problem is there are 0 waves. I have set the mod to 0 waves. There is nothing to tip this thing over. Yes, its center of mass is high, but it should not list from an equivalent, like, adding the same amount of weight on both sides. That just shouldn't happen. That's not how physics works. Like, see, that's fine. But the moment I would change it in here, it wouldn't be apparent. What if I just try to maximize the space? Could be a thing if it just doesn't have the reserve buoyancy for it. But again, even if it doesn't have the reserve buoyancy, it couldn't be listing. Because that's just not how that works. Okay, well now I can use my toolbar again. I don't know how that works. But there. Good enough. Well, I say good enough, but I guarantee... Actually, no, it could be... I think it might be floating perfectly. No, it's not. It's ever so slightly back heavy. Okay, well now it actually floats perfectly. Perfectly even. I think that's good enough. The armor's not as thick as I wanted on the side, but that's just the kind of thing you have to settle for on a ship like this, because it is just too small. It does not have it does not have the reserve buoyancy for changes like that. And then in order to make the changes for it to sit like halfway on this level would require so many changes that the ship would become way too heavy and way too costly for what it offers. Which it already is, but it's just how that goes. Now for the second fun part. Other damage testing. I'll set them a decent bit away. And I should probably turn the rapid fire ones to not shoot at large grids. Maybe I should, because that's probably like one of their only advantages over a more modern ship. Ooh, it looks like this one's taking the most devastating blow. well, comparing the damage. This one probably makes it out and probably gets to port. This one is never getting to port. This one is just gonna die. I did some advanced testing where I put one of these ships against itself. They did not last very long. The battle was very short. This one lost quite badly. Here, if I can get it to face the sun. For very obvious reasons. This one... Well, I mean, calling it a winner may be a little bit of a stretch. But, you know... You could arguably get the port. It's just, I don't know about repairing the thing. But at least your magazine didn't blow up. It can't. I haven't put anything in the magazines. But I'm actually somewhat impressed with the amount of damage these ships can take without just, like, losing. I forgot I need to put the AI blocks on here so the guns can reach out further. There was a mod, I can't remember what it was, but there was a mod that just extends the range without needing a defense block. Well, that wouldn't be a good spot for it if it's going to be like the only AI block I have. Because I would probably put this thing into MES, so... Maybe I put it right here, actually. Definitely don't want these targeting small ships. These ones... Maybe? Definitely don't want them targeting meteors. I forget how to boost the range. Okay, I think it just automatically like fires at their maximum range now. I don't know what their maximum range is though, unless the maximum range is 800 meters. I'd find it hard to believe that the maximum range of this thing is only 800 meters. I find that really hard to believe. Okay, this one has a range of 2 kilometers. So then you have a maximum range of 2 kilometers, you as well. About the Gatling casemate. I'm blind. I can't find it. Here we go. 1,000. Okay. Perhaps I misunderstood something. Yeah, I think I misunderstood something. No, I didn't. I forgot, yes, the AI blocks take some time to calculate. Alright, this guy lost. This guy lost hard. Man. He lost hard. Oh boy. Well, that would probably be a really fun wreck in real life to go scuba diving at. Alright, I'm actually really happy with the results. The ship seems to be very well balanced. Now, should I keep the captain's deck like this, or should I paint it wood? If I were to paint it wood, I couldn't do this outside one. It would just be like this right here. I think that's fine as is. Desks. Where are the desks? Here we are. Well, I can't really do that, can I? Then that blocks out. Okay, there we go. Like, no room for a light. Guess I could put them there. What if I put it here? Okay, I think that's good enough. Having it there would be fine. Probably have a toggle for the lights. That way, during daytime, you just don't need them on. There is a door coming in the next update that would fit this perfectly. But this isn't the next update. This is not. So, just gotta go with what I got. So, you have a bridge. And then you have the command center under the bridge, which doesn't offer that much more protection, but any amount of protection is better than none. I forgot to paint the insides here. wonder, can I just... Yeah, I can just get rid of that. And instead, I can put beds. Beds! What's this? Okay. Oh. The half block. I will be honest, very awkward place to have a door to the bathroom. It's, well, with only 6 seats on, I think having 6 beds is perfectly fine. And the toughest part about having a shower is the fact that it's got 2 open spaces. He's an engineer, yet he does not solve problems. He creates more for fun. That is completely true, Blaine B. Ballin from BlaineBBallin.com. So there, you got a shower, you got a bathroom, you got this one space here for a light. Fuck you if you sleep here, by the way. Oh man, this... I didn't even realize these doors don't work anymore because of the beds. I'll just go replace the other doors. Ah, I forgot to turn on symmetry mode. Sure. Yeah, fuck you in particular if you sleep here. You get the light in your eyes. There's no mess hall. There's no place for food. So that'll be this spot right here. Perfect. This is perfect. I don't know, who the heck is this guy? Napalm, that's your YouTube channel? Oh, welcome back, Alori. You missed, everything. Mainly, the entire building of the ship. Napalm, I think you would like this type of design. Had things to take care of, like what, your date with Sayori or something? I am totally not shoehorning in Doki Doki Literature Club so that I can claim to Dan Salvato, if he tries to take action against me, that I am technically still allowed to use Chibi Monica as a mascot. Wink. Oh, I never put the thing. Where, oh, where is this? Is that a Civil War design? Not quite Napalm, but the Civil War designs were what led to this. So this is like an 1890s Pre Dreadnought. I'm actually really happy with the, like, with how this turned out. So, got the bunks, toilet, shower. Very cramped up here. Nah. Thank you, Napalm. I, believe it or not, I mostly just went off of intuition when making this. I didn't actually, like, look at many references. I looked at one reference, and that was it. And I only followed it very loosely. So here you have, like, the main command center. Then up here, you have the bridge. I think I'm going to get rid of these two seats up here and replace them with something. I don't know what yet. Let's see, what would work up here? No, those have like a solid backing to them. All of them do. Hmm. No. Perhaps I should just keep it simple. It's really like this block right here is like screwing me over. Because of this right here. I can't use this space. This space is unusable. Because of the window. That's just how hitboxes work in this game. So I only have these three spaces right here to work with. very little to use them for. Maybe if I... Sure. Better than what I had before, but not by much. I could go for more of a... What if instead of a helm I made this more of just like the captain's area? I don't know, I kind of like being able to look out like this. I don't know, I just kind of really like that. Oh, what? You can get past that? Okay. Grr. I think I'm gonna keep that. Kind of like a must. I'll just go with this design. It's very simplistic, but it gives a lot of walking room, a lot of visibility. It actually doesn't really hamper your side view much as the captain. I thought it might, but apparently not. Because apparently when you go into this thing, your camera's like right here instead of right here. Yeah, what the hell? Whoa, what was I even locking onto? What? Even down there? Probably some debris. Can't really add any, like, cool designs on the side here. I could do that, and that would probably be more realistic. But I don't know. That just don't look good. That definitely doesn't look good. I know for a fact if I were to use this, at some point there's like vents and stuff. Maybe I should use this. Only one way to find out. Yeah, you know, Napalm, I also thought I was locking onto myself. And yes, I know that's a very late response. Yeah, Napalm, have you noticed that I'm able to respond a lot quicker now? Yeah? Well, that's because I turned my latency down to ultra low. So, I'm actually, like, it's pretty much one to one. Like, when you guys chat, I see it, and then when I respond, you guys hear the response. I show speed understanding GIF. Okay. That feels like something Blaine would send. Speaking of, where did that bum go? Alright, I think I really like that look. It adds a lot of detail without me having to actually add detail. So, in Space Engineers, there's like this pseudo rule in the game. And basically, it's like a three color scheme where it's like you want three main colors. Anything more makes it look a little cluttered or just weird. I never really thought about this, but warships kind of like perfectly follow that idea with, you know, gray and red being the two main colors and then black being the tertiary. But yeah, actually, I really do. I like the bolted look of that. I don't know if it quite works for the black though, because it makes the black a lot more dull. But I'll just recolor the whole thing and trust the process. Okay. I'm glad that I trusted the progress, or process, rather. I wish you could get darker than this, but you can't. So other than the black being just a little too dull, I think it works very well. I mean, I guess you can still tell that it's black. It's just... Well, this isn't a good example because the sun's directly overhead, so you can't really get good lighting on it. You can kind of tell. Alright, I think that's good. I'm gonna keep the red as weldless though, because I think red being weldless looks the best. I really like her. Keeping all the interior stuff weldless gray because it's very little of the stuff here. Ooh, but do I keep this as is or do I I'm changing it to this? That matches better. Alright. It's a very simplistic ship. There's not very much to it, but it gets the job done. All of the engines are separate though, so if one goes down, it's just down. It's not like there's any redundancy to it. But you don't have any space for redundancy in this ship. It's too small. I spent almost 3 hours on a ship of this size, and I'm not even done. Yet. I'm almost done, but not yet. All of these air vents. And not be shown terminal. The doors, same thing. Just getting rid of a lot of the clutter. I did forget to add a thing for the conveyors, though. I'll do it right here. Man, I am so glad that Keen added these to the game, the insect connectors. So now you actually have a way to access the magazines. Why are these half beds showing up? So yeah, now you can actually access the magazines. So you could just like make a crane at like a dock or something, have it reach over, and then just connect on down, and you're able to just fill it up. gonna go for a bit. Might be back in a few. I think so. I might be done by the time you get back. Uh, if I am, I'm gonna end stream when I finish fully, and then I'll probably put this up. Actually, when I figure out a name for it, I'll probably put it up on the Steam Workshop for Space Engineers. But yeah, so I may finish soon. We'll see. My chat box is not where I want it to be. It is where I want it to be. Why is it so... Alright, can someone in chat speak right now? I want to get this figured out. Like, see, it's all the way over there. Ugh. I'm just gonna... I'm going to type a bunch of letters. Okay, so I guess I'll just have to deal with chat being huge and like all the way over to the left of my screen. I need to find a new chat box. That's terrible. Yes, Napalm, that you are. You are big. You're big there just like you are in real life. How about that? See you, Napalm. That works. It's not exactly what I was thinking, but if it works, it works. This one's fine as is. Okay. What is another thing I can add to this ship? Oh, I know. I don't know how I didn't think of this before. There we go. Oh. Target large ships off. Small ships off. They are entirely for anti-personnel. Stations off. What happened? Brr. I hate space engineers. I hate it. I think 15,000 meters is the best. 15 kilometers. Its maximum range is like 2 kilometers. So you'll see it way before it can shoot at you. It's not super tall either. I'll go 12,000. Oops. I pressed a key I shouldn't have. Gotta finish up the interior turrets. Now to do all the same stuff to the lower one. Yippee! Alright. I think that should be everything. Info, center mass off, doesn't matter anymore. Alright. That's the control seat and the helm done. The interior's finished. The exterior's finished. She sits higher than I wanted, but that kind of helps the design in a weird way. She's got extra buoyancy I didn't expect her to have as well. I feel like if I designed her to float at the level that she's supposed to float at, she would have actually been worse. Just, in general, a worse design. Yeah, that's right. The last thing. Completely unnecessary addition. But I like it, so I'm doing it. Alright, just one last walkthrough. Bridge, which is completely open. This area. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, everything's lit well enough. Crew quarters is fine. It's acceptable. Alright. Yeah, I think everything's chilling. I think that'll do it now. Okay. We've got our ship. Now to run 2 last tests. Yep, the weakness is still the bottom. But she survived. Ooh, that's a rough one. But she survived. I'm shocked. That one is the killer. To be expected, though. With warheads, it's always a matter of where they hit and how lucky the hit is, because sometimes they do a lot more damage, sometimes they do not. But now it's time to do long distance gunnery. They take a few seconds. Ooh, rough. This one stopped firing for whatever reason. Ooh, maybe it's because the AI controller block got taken out. Yeah, it did. That's why. Okay. If the AI control block gets taken out, it loses, like, all of its function. Oh, this one survived with, albeit heavy damage, but now it's sitting at the intended water level it was supposed to sit at in the first place. Maybe I should add another defensive block. But the survival kit is like right where that defensive block would be. Kitchen's right there. Okay, so then. can't think of a good spot for another AI defensive block. Hmm. Maybe right here. Ah, that's the problem. Okay. I think I'll keep new AI defensive block where I've placed it, but I'm gonna move this one. Now, do I put a shower here? Should I put the shower here? Should I put it where I had it? If I put it here, there's a little bit more protection. Protection over comfort. Oh man. My game froze ever so briefly, and the audio cut out, which freaked me out. Okay. I should probably add that one last thing, which I said last time too, but AI behavior on/off is actually somewhat important. Oh man, that doesn't work. But that does. What? Interesting. I love misclicking. Actually, I wonder if... No, that kind of defeats the whole point of having it be easily accessible. There we go. Ooh, or idea. Yes. I had a brain blast and it worked. It didn't work. This doesn't work. Ugh. Just gonna remove those then. But then this one doesn't work either. Hard. Maybe I just get rid of those. See, I said earlier in the stream that I would at some point go dead quiet. I was right. Dead silent. Because I'm too busy focusing. Huh, wow, I didn't think that would work nearly as well as it did. Like, it's not the greatest thing in the world, it kind of interferes, but it actually works. Yep, and I got that one. That would be cool, but it's half blocked, so I can't place anything there. Bruh. Why, Keen? Why must we make things that would look cool, but we can't actually use them because of geometry? Oh, and like right here too. Like, come on. That would look so much better, but I can't do it. I can't put it here either. Maybe I should reduce that thing's antenna down to 10 kilometers. Alright. That should be the final product. Got everything settled, everything added, everything changed. Gonna do a final test against itself. This time at even further range. This is out nearish its final, or not final, but nearish its maximum range. Looks like this one hasn't figured out how to lock up. Oh, wow. Okay, that was quick. Then, I wonder what it'll do against one of my other earlier designs that I'm not really proud of at this point. Why you know targeted? Why you know where? Oops. Looks like trying to turn that over to Space Pirates caused it to crash. I guess space engineers couldn't handle it. Well, I guess that's gonna be the end of the stream. Very sudden, very abrupt. But it has been like 3 hours, 46 minutes, and 30 seconds. So, I suppose I'll leave it here. And to that, I say adieu, auf Wiedersehen, and good